Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description. From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gerry Kissell.
Hey guys, another episode of Pop Culture Minefield with Gerry
and Keith.
And we're here to talk about nerd stuff because, you know, we're nerds and that's what we do. So, let's see, on the list. Oh, well, let's do the birthday thing. It's a special birthday.
Yes, today we have two big birthdays. First, DC Comics great artist Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, who did a lot of work for a lot of the character design work that DC and Warner Brothers released for anything involving any toys, t-shirts, whatever, that you may have seen in the 1970s and 80s. He did all the artwork for that. That was the basis. It was just really good work. Look him up sometime. And then the big birthday today is Mr. Leonard Simon Nimoy of Massachusetts.
He's a Massachusetts boy. So, I love Leonard. I wish we still had him with us. It's just, Star Trek just sort of died with him, sadly.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to go into a couple of things dealing with some fun stuff. Let's see. First, we got Pet Sematary. Yeah. It's the 30th anniversary special edition that just came out. I bought it today, and it is in the 4K. This is my. I got a Blu-ray copy because I don't watch 4K. First of all, you can't see in 4K. Yeah. It is humanly, biologically impossible to see in 4K. To watch it in Blu-ray is exactly where our eyes need to be at. So I got the Blu-ray copy, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the bonus stuff that comes with it.
As always. Now, it's the 30th anniversary of Pet Sematary.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the 20th anniversary of the hit Buffy show Angel this year.
Holy smokes.
So go out and buy that. It's a really good series. In fact, I kind of like it just a smidge better than Buffy. It's a good show. Really good show.
Yeah, it is. Let's see. And we've got sad news, sort of. Gary Buechler, everybody knows him as Nerderotic. He got shut down today for copyright infringement. He can still post videos. He just can't go live for 3 months. Wow. And I'm assuming, because I have not read totally what happened here, but you know as well as I do, that he's been going hot and heavy after CBS.
Yeah.
I mean, he's rough on Star Wars, but nothing compared to what he does to CBS and Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, and Doctor Who.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot about that. It's off season for Doctor Who right now, so we don't hear much about that. But soon again we shall. But Nerd, and whether you like him or not, because like our producer Craig, not his cup of tea. He does not like him. Considers him just a jerk. And whether you think he is or isn't, he is a great source of information.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of us who don't know how to use Reddit, Craig was making fun of me today about that. You're one of those guys. I'm like, I'm tech savvy. I know what I'm doing on a computer.
You could turn it on.
But I just, I don't know how to use Reddit. I get lost. I'm like, what am I looking for? Why are they stacked? I don't know. What do I need to read? So I just get out of there quickly. But he told me that, you know, if you want really good information on Star Trek and Star Wars and all that stuff, Reddit's the place to go. So he promised to teach me, and I'm going to hold you to that, Craig. I love you, brother. All right. So poor Gary is not going to be able to go live for a while, which sucks. But I love his videos. Whether I agree with him on everything or not, I love his videos. They're very educational.
Yeah.
So good on you, Gary. I hope you get your show back soon. And with that, we'll move on to the next thing, which is what do we want to talk about? Avengers? We can talk about Avengers.
We can.
Because one, he's got news about it, and then I was just excited to see that it's going to be 3 hours.
That is the big thing. So
will they have an intermission?
That I don't think so. Which means if you got a weak bladder,
because that's what I'm thinking. Because boy, if my daughter Zoe, I love you, but you won't make 3 hours because I know how you drink soda.
Yeah, I my advice to you is don't eat or drink anything. Just really enjoy the movie. And seriously, what's so important where you just got to keep putting stuff in your mouth? You know you're going to choke on it during the first hour once we get all of the rest of the results into the movies.
I try to eat all my food before the movie starts so I don't make noise. Because there's nothing that annoys me more than in a movie theater than people rustling and crunching their food or wrinkling the paper, trying to open something. It's like, stop it, you're taking me out of the movie. So, but anyway, 3 hours is a pretty good runtime for a film. And that tells me that what we've got is 3 solid acts dealing with a multitude of characters.
Yeah.
So we know we're going to get a lot of dedicated time to each one of those characters. When you see 3 hours, that means you're going to have some focus.
Well, according to what I have heard attributed to the directors, the Infinity War had a sort of Tony bent. Endgame is going to focus more on a Steve bent. Okay? So we're going to be heavily into what Steve's doing. Technically, he didn't play that big a role in the last movie.
No, he didn't.
So, yeah, you're going to have a lot more Steve Rogers in this film.
And I'm liking a lot of the shots that are coming out of it. I love that finally got him in a costume.
Yeah, well,
a uniform.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, woo.
And Marvel decided to release 32 character posters for this film.
They look awesome.
It is an amazing idea. You have the first few posters are all of the characters that we had at the end of Infinity War that survived. And all the rest of the posters are done in black and white for all the characters that were dusted. So, but these are all meant to be characters that I think will be coming back. Well, one of them isn't. But
well, because of the fact that they talked about it dealing with time travel, yeah. I believe a majority of them will come back. I still have my doubts. No matter what anybody says, that Loki is really dead. I just.
I was gonna say I don't think Loki is coming back because that was pre-snap. So
it was pre-snap, but at the same time, if time travel's involved, how far back before the snap are we gonna go? So I don't know. I just love Loki. He's one of my favorite villain anti-heroes.
My thing is, I think there are going to be a few surprises. If that is really the case, then there are definitely going to be a few surprises.
Yeah, when the directors have said, no, he is definitely dead, he's not coming back, I go, look, man, misinformation is something that's popular in these kinds of movies. So no, I'm not going to take your word for it.
Well, they messed with us before. Yeah,
I will believe it when the movie's done.
Yeah,
and he doesn't show up. Then I'll go, oh, I guess he's really dead. And then, of course, segueing over into more comic book territory was, you said there was a special showing. I have not read the full article yet, but I got a cursory idea of what Zach was talking about when I was reading some of the things, and I understand what he was saying.
Yeah, they had a special thing that they had put together.
We're talking about Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. To celebrate his birthday, but to also give him the opportunity to appear before an audience and to show director's cuts of 3 of his movies.
3 of the movies, and to do a live commentary,
mm-hmm.
which is, I would love that.
Yeah.
Because despite you know, some of my ill feelings early on, which have
Mhm.
changed completely because of things I've learned being friends with you,
Mhm.
about Zach not being the one at fault for Man of Steel.
Mhm.
I actually like his interpretation of Batman.
Yeah.
And I really think that he understands dark characters, or what did they call it recently? Something grim?
Yeah, I mean, it's
What do they call that? What was it they said? Because you said something about it on my page.
yeah,
on
it was
Facebook.
grim.
Ultra grim or something like that.
Yeah, grim dark is what's
Grim dark. That was
so,
it.
some people were nicknaming it grim dark, and I have a little bit of a problem with that because to me that all surmises that the characters are and have always been the way that we see them now, which is a misrepresentation of the history of these characters. We're celebrating 80 years of Batman. You know, we just celebrated 80 years of Superman last year.
Right.
Look, you're talking heroes that when they first hit the page were different in a way that many of us don't acknowledge. How we view these characters now was pretty much set in stone after 1950 because the government got involved and you had the whole thing with the comics authority, which also led to Stan Lee and Marvel going, "Oh, you want to self-censor? We're out." You know, it is not a point of view, but a point of fact that when you look up all of the stuff having to do with Superman, Batman, and any of the other characters prior to the comics authority, these characters were not the way that many of us assume that they or are used to seeing them.
Right.
Zack Snyder pretty much has it right. Superman once responded to an abusive situation between a husband and wife, and he knocked the husband for a loop. You know, he took a politician who was a slumlord and decided he was going to change his mind about the way he did things. Of course, everybody knows about Batman and his use of weapons in the first couple years of his comic. So to call these dark is to really then to say that we only acknowledge everything about these characters from 1950 onward.
Yeah, because like the early iteration of Batman was very dark. He carried guns.
Yeah, but I mean, the villains that they went after were not supervillains initially.
No,
They were villains.
thugs. They were thugs.
Yeah, but they were villains. These were the villains. And the government didn't like that. They didn't want to show powerful, regular people going after politicians, lawyers, people who own property, people, you know, crooked cops. The government decided to lean on them a little bit. It's like, we need to change this. And so, you know, that's where your supervillains come from.
To quote somebody that I respect a lot, when the government gets involved, everything breaks down.
Basically.
It's like they don't fix anything, they break everything. Well, it's basically one of the things that was the big controversy is what he said.
Yeah.
Zach, was that basically Batman kills, and people have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And I've even had debates like with Chuck Dixon. I don't know, 3 or 4 years back, he and I had a bit of a debate, and I said, "Look, this is how I see it. I understand real violence. I was in the military. I was in an infantry unit, and I understand what violence is, and that when you strike somebody, even with your hands, there's always a likelihood, if you're hitting them hard enough to knock them out, that you are going to kill them with that strike.
Yes.
So death comes with what you do. And Batman is somebody who had to accept a long time ago that when he does something, I didn't make this happen. I accept the end results. If they die because of their actions, that's their fault, not mine."
And that's the way both Batman and Superman were handled initially. In fact,
and I think that's the best way to handle them.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's the way that they had Bruce Wayne act in Batman Begins, if you notice. Ra's al Ghul did not die by Bruce's hand.
That's true.
Bruce just let him die.
I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you either. So.
And notice...
That hurts my throat. I don't know how Christian Bale did that.
But notice, nobody has a problem with that. You know? I mean...
He let him die. And the fact is I think the best iteration is Badman, the college humor videos. I thought those were hilarious when it's got Patton Oswalt as the Penguin, and Batman's like, he doesn't understand that when he does these things, people die, and he sticks the batarang in the guy's eye, and he's, well, he went to sleep. You do understand, those people are dead. No, they went with my parents, who are also asleep. It was funny.
It was very funny. I mean, then again, as I've said, I have a little bit of a problem with people that want to try to make a lot of the DC characters seem a little more, I believe in the full round,
clean cut and not willing to kill. It's like, first of all, what you're doing is using violence to begin with. You're using violence to fight crime.
Yeah.
And the minute you take violence into your heart and are willing and ready to do it, you also have to accept the fact that you may kill somebody.
Yeah.
That there's no way of avoiding it other than pure luck that they don't die. And this is a debate I've had with other people. Like I said, Chuck and I had a long discussion about it. And it's just
well, look at how violence was used really in all of the comics before 1950.
Yeah.
When you look at Captain America, when you look at...
You're talking pre-code.
Yeah, pre-code. Look at what Captain America, Namor, and the Submariner did to bad guys. So
I'm sorry, you just reminded me, Captain Marvel, the early serials. Oh my God, he killed people.
Yes.
And I fell in love with this. I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because I'd never seen the early until last year. And I finally sat down and started watching some of those serials, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing that God ever made for the earth.
The only reason why I knew they existed was because of the Fireside Theater.
No, really?
Yeah, they made a movie called G.A.M.E. Forever where they spliced in some of the scenes from that.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I never knew. But that's also how I knew that they had Captain America serials too.
Yeah, I've never seen those either.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to. There's so many of the old serials I want to see too.
There's just a lot of stuff. So you have that Captain Marvel serial was originally planned out by that same company who made that. They were trying to get the rights to do Superman, and DC decided to hold out for a much bigger studio so they could get more prominent actors.
Right.
And so they went to Fawcett, and Fawcett just went, okay.
Sure. Oh, working. Well, is there anything else we need to mention before the end of this episode?
I think we've reached the end.
We've reached the end. This is it. Well, I thought there'd be a crack of lightning or something.
Maybe a cosmic.
The hand of God from Monty Python reaching down and pulling us out of it. Stop it. You're just being silly. All right. Well, that's it for Pop Culture Minefield. This is Gary.
And Keith.
And we are out of here.
Bye.
Hi comics and monster fans, welcome to the Return to Monster Island Kickstarter campaign. I'm Nolan. You probably know my work from my years of working at Marvel and DC Comics. I'm the designer and co-creator of the Batman villain Bane. I've recently partnered with my friends at Ominous Press to bring you the 20th anniversary edition of Monster Island. And thanks to all of the backers that supported the project, it was a great success, and we can finally bring to you the long-awaited sequel, Return to Monster Island. It's been 20 years in the making, and I think everybody's been patient long enough. Return to Monster Island is the long-awaited sequel to my original story, Monster Island. It's been 20 years in the making. I've always wanted to do the sequel and the subsequent sequels. This was originally an idea that had 4 story parts, and this obviously is the first one. 2 years have passed since the original adventure, and our heroes, Mac and Duke, are called back to action. When the Monster Island shows up on the Navy radar screens above the Bering Sea, it's a race against time to get there before the Russians. A group of aliens has taken over the island, and our heroes have to set things right before the island disappears once more. New characters, new monsters, and new dangers await you on the Return to Monster Island. Some of the great rewards for this campaign include Return to Monster Island in full color, a colorized version of the original Monster Island, commission art done by me, and lots of other great stuff. Thank you for joining us for Return to Monster Island. I hope you'll consider pledging your support to this campaign. I know with your help it'll be a huge success.